And welcome to Offended, presented by the Anything But Credible Network. It's your boy Tricky alongside KT KT Naked Ladyy, and joining us today, we got the full network crew here. Gonna play a little MCU tournament game. First off, we got Duggan from the Anything But Credible podcast. How you doing, Duggan?
Hi, Tricky. It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on. Doing great. Can't say much about the movie game, but I'm glad that you asked me back, I guess.
Of course. You know.
He's got to rub it in, Duggan.
Yeah,
He's always going to ask you back when you lose.
I'll always be a fair sport, but, there's few things that, you sometimes you just got to take the L. I'm here to take the L today.
Yeah. 0 points. All right, next up, we got the one-pointer from the Going Off Topic podcast, Mr. Kyle Foshe. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Begrudgingly, I'm here as well under these circumstances, but I'm just glad that my podcast is here to promote everyone, and you're all winners in my heart. Denny, it's up in the air still, but
that's fair.
You are one of the OGs on the movie game, so we'll give you that.
There you go. Next up, we have first time on Offended. We have Denny from the Movie Merge podcast. That's correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Movie Merge and Spacing Out.
Nice. Welcome to the show. Really quickly explain what those two podcasts are to everybody listening to Offended.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm honored to be on the show. Thanks for having me. But Movie Merge is a podcast I do. It's basically me just watching a bunch of movies that I've never seen before, cult classics and stuff like that. And then I kind of mash them all together and merge them together to create a short story, which I do a dramatic read of. So that's always a good time. And then Spacing Out is a podcast that I do with my dad. We just kind of do whatever we're feeling. Like last week we just did a round of the movie game on that podcast. I may or may not have also lost in that one, but I don't want to talk about it. Week before that, we did, we talked about Star Wars trivia, and then we did like the Mandela effect, stuff like that. So just anything we, feel like talking about or doing. So
nice. And finally, in my opinion, a worthy opponent in the movie game. Somebody actually brought some competition, in my opinion. Thomas Ragland, I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right? You have a podcast coming out on the Anything But Credible Network, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Thanks, Todd. Tricky. Thanks for having me here. I agree. Happy to be representing as your only real competition in the movie game. So thanks for having me. Happy to be here doing that. My podcast will be coming out hopefully soon, working through some technical difficulties right now, but we should be up and running in the next week or so. It's going to be called What's Your Bliss? And we're going to be talking about really what brings people bliss. We're going to do a deep dive on a subject that brings someone absolute joy. We're going to talk about why it brings them joy. We're going to do a deep dive into the history of that, not just within their own experience, but just in the history of the world and what that looks like, and it's gonna be a good time.
Nice. Can't wait to listen to that. Before we get going into everything Offended here, I feel like we have to throw it back to last week. What happened on the movie game on the Going Off Topic podcast, and really my question is, Duggan, I thought you watched 3 movies. What happened? When
I only knew those 3 movies. That's they didn't come up. That was the problem. I thought for sure that they would come up, and they didn't. And I didn't have a plan B. First of all, I have 2 questions for you before we get into. First of all, Katie doesn't get an intro. Like, what's up with that?
No, he just skips me.
Second of all, how uncomfortable are you with that belt? You are so uncomfortable holding that thing.
Yeah, I was ready to put it down. I was so ready to put it down.
Well, Katie, it's great to see you again too. If you don't get the intro,
I know. Just push me under the rug. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, so why? Here's another question: is how come? Like, where would Katie be falling in the competition spectrum here across all of us?
You would probably beat me, Duggan.
I don't think so.
Oh, you would. Yeah. No, I'm not.
It's hard to get worse than 0. So
exactly, it's true.
She just watched Home Alone for the first time ever last year.
Solid.
I mean,
I've seen Home Alone 3 though, like when I was little.
Scarlett Johansson. Nice.
There you go.
Thomas is going to have his own movie game.
Not again,
right?
Please.
Just gonna get through it.
To answer your question though, I've never been like a movie buff, I guess. I like movies, but I've never been like a movie historian, a film historian, or anything like that. But would like to think that I know more than what comes across in the movie game. I know that sounds crazy for anyone who has listened to it, but I will stand by, and I hope that the other people that have played the movie game so far also feel that I will stand by the fact that this weird, unaccountable pressure comes over you when you start that you just are not ready for. And I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense for there to be any kind of pressure when you're literally just naming movies, actors, actresses, and directors. But it does. And for some reason, my brain just turns off. I don't know why.
Well, I'm getting kind of sick and tired of going up like 2 or 3-0 and then just letting everybody back in the game. So I've done it 2 games in a row now.
I mean, I think that people just catching their wave. After a while, you got to heat up. It's a momentum.
Right. And next question. I actually have 2 questions for Denny. Number 1, how did it feel sinking so low in that chair? We all saw it in the YouTube version. And number 2, why does Everything Must Go just absolutely fucking suck?
Well, I sank low in that chair because it was comfortable and I felt safe back there in that chair. Not like the movie game where I'm constantly just reminded of my failures and mistakes and stuff like that. That chair is my one safe haven. What was your other question?
Why
Everything Must Go.
Yeah.
Why does it suck?
Yeah, why does it absolutely fucking suck? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on who you're asking, but if you're asking me, I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. And it was the height of Will Ferrell's career, I would argue. So I would highly recommend watching it, even though I myself have not seen the movie.
I like how I used it just to be a dick to screw somebody else over, and it literally came back and bit me in the ass again.
Yeah, I said it in the episode. That's my one victory, I think. I mean, Everything Must Go was still in some way screwing you over, even when you were, the champion that game. So that's all I got, but I'll take it.
Foshe, how did it feel to get at least on the board? Did you think you were going to get on the board that game? I'm totally the heel of this network, by the way.
I'd like to also note that, before Foshe, not to cut you off here, but I would like to throw a couple things in here for context for the offended audience out there. First of all, this was only Todd's second time being a part of it. And not only the second time the movie game has been played, right? This was the 4th time. And many times off air, too. So I just want to throw out that even though what Todd is saying is not necessarily wrong, there have been points that have been had. Denny, I got your back on this, too.
Thanks, buddy.
Everybody catches a bad game every once in a while. And
sometimes multiple in a row.
Right. And that's it. It's called a bad streak and the good players come out of the streaks, right? I'm sorry, Foshe. Please continue on.
No, yeah, it's I appreciate you saying that because I feel like it applies to all of us. But yes, Todd was originally on once and I did end up beating him. I would first like to apologize to Katie because I'm sure he's been insufferable the past week to live with.
But he was insufferable the week before all of it, and he was like, ask me movie questions, like literally trying to study. And I couldn't even think of movies to ask him to name. It was horrible.
Yeah, it's a good time. We're definitely gonna maybe do it once a month or once every other month, and I might throw some other games in there every now and again that too. But I'm glad it's brought the network together as we continue to branch out. I'm sure we'll add more people.
It might break us apart.
It might end the network. It's to be seen. Yes. Denny actually thought that Duggan and I created the game originally, but we did not. We I don't know where Duggan got it, but I'm pretty sure he came up with the idea, and then we just kind of molded it together, and it's fun. It's a good time. We talk about a lot of crazy movies, throw out a lot of crazy Hail Marys every once in a while. One hits. Shout out to Star Wars and whatever that guy's name is. I can't remember at this point anymore.
Carl Urban, legend.
Yeah. Shout out to him. That was a nice one. That might have been the one point that I got in that round. I'm not sure, but
honestly, you earned it for that Hail Mary. So I was really shocked, but that was well done.
Yeah, and Foshe, you bring up a good point too, which is that maybe this just means that we on our own podcast just need to go and make other or new games that we are going to be good at, and therefore try new things other than just the movie game.
Yeah. I think Anything But Credible's done some trivia. Denny's done a lot of these brackets and some other games, some trivia stuff too on his network, or his podcast. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I think that we're gonna have to branch out and Well, we're gonna get all 6 of us on some things eventually here.
Well, I know
Have you
the
all
offended.
ever played the lyrics game?
I was gonna say the
Lyrics game?
offended
Yeah.
podcast always. Oh man, I'm so bad.
That one's tough.
I have never gotten one right that you guys have done. I've never gotten
That's
one
hard.
right. I mean, lyrics are tough because you really got to know that song. If you're just gonna straight say it, if you're just gonna say the lyrics, you got to really know it.
Well, it pisses you off too when you know it, but you can't figure it out. So I think I get more mad. I don't know. With movies, fuck it, I don't know anything. But with music, I at least know the lyrics.
You're actually better than me at the lyric game.
I am. So I will play that game.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Next maybe the next network game we just do a lyric game. That'd be fun. That'd be a good time for sure.
And last question on the, well, not really a question, but I have to throw it to Thomas here. He pointed out to us that there was a little bit of controversy in the game, and it was Blade Trinity, right? Wasn't that my answer?
Correct.
Who was the actress again that you said?
So the actress was Jennifer Coolidge.
That's right.
Who is not in Blade Trinity, but being the trustworthy person I am, I suppose the face of the network now. Certainly the trustworthy person that I am. I thought, you know what? I'm sure that's right. And we just kept on going, but that was wrong. Now, I want to point out that Todd also said and was right. Like he did kind of give me a boost by saying like we could name directors, which was something that I did forget I think that was in the first round, which helped me get a point. I also want to point out another thing, which is that not only we may have had that one mishap with Blade Trinity, but I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and like triple check, but I'm pretty sure that Todd was in the final of every single round. So, I mean, really, what are we doing here? Like, it was a fair win. It was a fair win. I'm willing to accept that, I messed up that one and that's what I get. But can you imagine, speaking of this week, can you imagine how insufferable he would have been if he became Tricky Two Belts? Thank goodness he messed up about 4 of 5 of his
Thank
picks
you.
last night.
Thank you.
I was so pulling for that too.
I'm not even sad that I lost as long as he didn't win.
It wouldn't even matter. Stoutsy got a perfect score. He got everything right, even the
Good for
tiebreaker.
Stoutsy.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you didn't fucking win.
Katie, how do you feel about that nickname, by the way? How does Tricky Two Belts? How do you like that?
So are you? He pulled it from WWE, so he's not creative. He just copied off of a women's wrestler in WWE. Her name was Becky Two Belts. So it doesn't even matter because it didn't fucking happen. So
I think somebody's salty she lost her title, but anyway,
nope.
We'll talk more wrestling this week on another episode of Offender. We're dropping 2 episodes this week. But Movie Game 4, Going Off Topic podcast. Foshe, where can we find your podcast again? Just so everybody can go listen to it and hear me win or watch me win because it's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so the easiest way is probably just to go to anythingbutcredible.com. You can get it all right there. But if you search Going Off Topic, you can find it on anywhere you get your podcasts, but anythingbutcredible.com, you can get anything there. And like you said, the video is also on the Offended YouTube channel. So you can see that. Like I said, I think the best part about that is just slowly watching Denny sink inside of his chair. That alone is worth checking it out.
Yeah, when I was editing it, it's like you could see like the little like screenshots at the bottom and just slowly but surely you see Denny just slowly keep moving down where we're all staying just in our same position.
I can't. I mean, I don't know. After Adam Sandler literally being named right before I gave my answer, and I didn't say Adam Sandler, I just knew that there was no. I couldn't get any lower than that, so I just sunk into. It just felt like the right thing to do at the time. So.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. The movie game. Todd is such a strong performer for all the terrible movie takes that he has out there on the Twitter sphere. It's interesting.
This is coming from a guy who thinks Back to the Future is just meh.
Very.
Okay, Blair Witch. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get into face and heel of the week. Does anybody want to start? Katie, do you want to start off since I didn't give you an intro?
Sure.
Go ahead with both of them, by the way.
Okay, both of them. I know we're doing wrestling wrap up a different day, but just shouting out to AEW. They're the fireworks that.
Is this your face or heel?
That's my heel.
Okay.
I did that on the show. they were supposed to have a lot more fireworks go off, and someone was supposed to like get really hurt, and it was like bing, and nobody got hurt. So that's my heel. And then my face is that you didn't become Tricky Two Belts. That's my face.
Ooh, love it.
Okay.
Okay. No words.
Okay. You know what? To play off you, I'll go next. My face, because my face was actually the pay-per-view last night. I thought AEW Revolution was phenomenal. I thought it was amazing. The main event, fucking kick ass. It's instantly an instant classic. Instantly became one of my favorite matches of all time. But my heel of the week is the ending to the pay-per-view. Like you said, it was an exploding barbed wire death match. And at the end, it's supposed to go for 30 minutes, but if somebody wins before the 30 minutes, then all the explosions around the ring don't go off. Well, the match does end before that 30-minute mark, but the countdown clock was still going, and you're like, oh shit, there's going to be a crazy explosion here. And it literally was like sparkles. It was nothing, to the point where John Moxley, after the show, got on the mic and he goes, man, Kenny Omega can't build explosions for shit. Like, he's like, what the fuck was that? Like, basically just making fun of it the whole time.
It was something they're never going to live that down.
No, they will not.
But, you know.
Yeah. Foshe, you want to go next?
Yeah, so my face is the PS5. I finally got one, as you've heard.
Yay!
I know that Todd.
Congrats!
Yeah, it was it's been a 6-month struggle, you might say, but it's finally happened. It is worth every penny. If I would have, I definitely probably, if I wouldn't have gotten one, probably would have bought one off a resale market, and it would have been worth that money too. So yeah, finally got one. PS5 is my face. My heel, I have a couple of people written down as question marks, but I'm going to ultimately get to my person. Adam Silver for the NBA All-Star Weekend. That was stupid. Always Governor Parsons. Liverpool playing like dog shit lately, which is depressing for me.
Man, you.
But ultimately, the person that I'm settling on is Ann Herbert. She is the Nike executive that resigned recently over the claims that her son had his own resale operation and was buying Nike shoes and then turning around and reselling them for a profit. And then to prove the revenue his company was making, he sent a financial statement to Bloomberg for an American Express corporate card, and his mother's name was on the card. So for all the people out there like myself that go on the sneakers app and go on all these places and try to buy shoes when they drop, these are the reasons that we can't get them, because assholes like this get them and then resell them for thousands and thousands of dollars profit. So Ann Herbert and your Joe Herbert, her son, who's 19 years old, you are the heel of the week for me.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That's pretty.
What a stupid thing you can do. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Yeah, like you're not gonna get busted. Like her, and she's been at Nike for 25 years. Was most recently the company's vice president and general manager for North America. Like, nobody's gonna find out that your son is running a resale market on the side and making. So recently, he said he bought $132,000 worth of Yeezys on a credit card and then resold them for a $20,000 profit. So that is just one transaction that he has done recently, which is great.
Because he really needs the money too. He's exactly for money.
That's the thing, is that, you know, if you Google this story, that dude has a lot of shoes. It's not just, you know, every once in a while. I mean, they're like thousands of shoes. He has like his own warehouse.
Yeah, there's like pictures. Like I'm looking, you know, if you go to the Bloomberg, or this is on CBS News, there's like a picture of him standing next to a warehouse, and there's like just rows of Yeezys that they just released the new Yeezys. I mean, Yeezys are trash, but they just released the new ones, and they sold out like in under a minute. And it's because of bots and people like this that have insider information and buy them and then resell them for double, triple, quadruple the price on StockX and all these different places. So it was crazy. That was huge news when you know, I'm a part of all these sneaker Facebook groups and Twitter things, all this stuff. And when that dropped, people were losing their minds. It was very interesting to see.
I just can't, like, you're just putting your family in jeopardy. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I just don't get it. Just don't do that.
Not very smart.
Denny, you want to go next?
Sure. So my face of the week is I finally got around to watching Tenet. And that movie has been constantly playing in my head ever since I watched it. And I want to watch it again already. I watched it, I think, literally a week ago. But man, that is a insane movie. I can't even wrap my head around just the what they call inversion in the movie. It just
Right.
I literally my brain cannot comprehend how that works. I was watching it and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, but I have no idea what's going on. Like it was amazing. So
Do you think Sher Michael Caine knew what was going on when he watched it? Maybe.
I don't know, but honestly, almost forgot he was in it until you just mentioned that because he's only in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but
I know.
but it's great. I mean, anytime he shows up, you know.
Duggan, have you rewatched yet? Or are you still? It's still on the plans. Still on the book to rewatch Tenet.
Who is that?
You is it on? Is it still on the? Is it still on your rewatch list, or you're out?
Got
on
it.
that?
You gotta watch it the second time.
I guess, but I just to Denny's point, that aspect of it is actually what pisses me off. It's just like, yeah, we're not going to explain it, we kind of, but we don't really need to. Just like go with it and just deal with it, and then like watch it 800 times, and then maybe you'll get it. And I just don't really love that. So.
They literally say, you know, in the beginning of the movie when she's explaining the bullet thing, she's like, "Don't think too hard about it."
Exactly,
and,
and then every time you got to say that, I'm like, I just don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. I thought it was great. I mean, everything about it was really great. But I feel like, you know, Denny, you might be hitting on something because I feel like a part of this could be the heel of the week. Because I'll tell you, I don't know what you watched it on, but at least when I rent it, like I got problems with I got beef with the Xbox renting situation here. It's like you get, I think the rules are something stupid like you pay X amount of dollars and then you get 2 weeks to start the movie, and then once you start it, you only have 24 hours, and then it's gone. It's like, I just don't. I feel like
I think that's how a lot of streaming like things are.
Yeah, man. I remember the good old. I mean, I'm a million years old now, but the good old days when you actually rented a movie, you got to have, you got to actually have it for more than one day.
Right.
And then my heel is completely unrelated to Tenet, but and actually, I think Todd, you might have touched on this last episode of Offended, I think, but Eminem trying to get people are trying to cancel Eminem. I cannot. I just man, it drives me nuts. I don't know. I just feel like people are just bored and just they just want to. I don't even know exactly what specifically they're targeting him for, but it's Eminem. Like, what do you? I don't know. Not that he
Gen
gets a
Z.
pass, but
it's Gen Z. They're all young. They don't understand yet. They make fun of millennials for like complaining about being adults, and it's like, bitch, give it 5 years. You will understand. So shut up.
When people just try and change things that don't need to, like, I get it if it's a more serious, like,
right.
Obviously, if it's something way more serious than that, but it just, I don't know, canceling Eminem for something like that. Not that it's going to happen, because there's no way it's going to happen, but just drives me nuts that people try that kind of stuff for no reason. So that's my heel.
Right. Has everybody here seen Tenet, by the way? No? Thomas, you haven't? Okay, I'm not going to say it then. There's just a scene at the very beginning of the movie that totally like gives away the movie. And that's why I think, Duggan, you have to watch it again. Because you just watch it and you're like, whoa.
I will definitely do it again, but I don't know. All of those movies and like in general, I always end up watching multiple times and end up really loving. So I'm sure I'll end up loving it.
Thomas, you want to go with face and heel?
Yeah. So my heel actually is almost the other side of the whole Gen Z millennial thing. And what I've been seeing is really just all of these millennial white women who feel the need to then create their own videos in response to all of this Gen Z stuff and create all of these nonsensical songs. And it really just makes them look like everything that Gen Z says that we are as millennials.
That is true.
And I'm like, oh man, this is bleak. So it's really like, it's seeing the downfall of millennials, which like we don't have a chance anyway, but seeing that downfall and through their eyes of like this, like, oh my God, you're doing this to yourselves, which is not the case. Thanks a lot, boomers and everybody else. But that's neither here nor there. So just these videos, like just these random songs that they're creating about their side parts and their skinny jeans. And look, I also rock a side part. I also rock skinny jeans. I get it, right? But it's like they had like just kind of don't give them an easy target, you know? That's
like
how I feel about
white women stand down, pretty much.
Yes, white women just in general in life. White women stand down. That's my advice for the week.
That's so true.
Listen, Katie.
I'm not one of those people.
That's right. Yeah. My face is probably. Sorry, I'm also giving my baby back to the baby's mother here, my lovely wife. Yeah, I should have said the baby's mother. That was probably the worst way that I could have described that. I love you so much. Bye. I guess my face is my lovely wife. She's lovely. No, my face is that I'm off work for the next 2 months, which is lovely. I'm spending time at home with the kids, and my wife is going back to work. But the ability to just be home and not be working, and especially in the work that I do, to not have to manage those types of emergencies right now, and only manage children emergencies, which is something that I think I'm qualified for. Is really nice. So it's I feel like it's a really good time for me to be doing all these podcasts and also, which is also helpful because I only talk to toddlers all day. So it's nice to talk to actual humans.
Nice. Well, I think that's everyone, right, Duggan? Right?
It can be. It definitely can be.
All right, let's hear it, Duggan. What do you got?
I'll be quick. First, I just want to give a side face to Drake, because he's just Foshe, close your ears for a second, because he's just the man. He's just the best. And I've said this before on this podcast, but he's going to go down as, if not the best musician. I don't care what you say or how you say it. He's definitely top 3. He doesn't miss, and he's just
he misses a lot.
He's one of the goats. He's just one of the goats. All right, but one of the real face though, and this Tricky, this is for you, man, is. I got to give this up to, because I watched this live and I still think about it all the time. And that is Marco Scandella. I guess now it's been at least a week now, took a high stick directly to the mouth, ripped out his front. I don't know if it was 3 teeth. I know it was at least 2 teeth.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it might have been. And, for all the non-hockey people out there, that just doesn't seem like a lot. Even the hockey people, you watch it and it's just like, oh, it just happens sometimes. But if you sit back and think about it, like, man, I don't know if anybody's ever had teeth knocked out of their mouth before, but it's not great. And then, you hear the announcers talk about it. The pain, it's got to be throbbing. He still finished his shift. And then, like, I can only imagine with the roots of your teeth being exposed and the cold air and the ice, and it can't be good. And hockey players are just the toughest people in the world. And so, it's a huge shout out to Marco Scandella. Every time, it just amazes me.
What's crazy about that is literally the game before he got his teeth knocked out, he got hit in the face with a puck.
Yeah.
And came out of the game for like 5 minutes just to get checked on. He's like, I'm fine. Next game, gets a high stick, loses 2 or 3 teeth, and then scores 2 goals. Like,
it's insane, man.
Yeah.
The hockey players are just another breed of human. I don't know even what that breed is, but they're just insane people.
I'm one of them.
My heel, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but I just got to be honest with you guys. There's one thing, and I've talked about it many times, but it's this thing that drives me crazy. It's my heel is this random email, like mass email thread that somehow I got tied to, called Word of the Day. Every day I get an email on the word of the day, and it literally is just a single word, the pronunciation of it, and the definition of it. Here's the thing. I've gone through 3 different email addresses. And it has followed me through all 3. It's followed me through an SBC Global website way back in the day, a yahoo.com, and now it's on my Gmail. I don't understand how it is connected.
That's strange.
And the problem is every day it makes me feel dumber and dumber because I don't know any of the words. They're all really hardcore words that you would never use ever or hear anybody use. So heel of the week is to whatever this word of the day email chain I'm on.
What is today's word?
So lately I've been like giving a big middle finger to him, but I delete them. I've been like, yeah, I'm gonna. But here, I'll pull up the last one. You ready for this? Actually, let me see if this. Let me turn my volume. See if this plays here.
Knobby.
What was that?
Is that English word of the day, or is it
Knobby?
Knobby. Does anybody know what knobby is?
How do you spell it?
Nobby.
N-O-B.
No. I don't know what that is.
An adjective describing a person of wealth or high social position.
I just thought it was somebody who looked like a doorknob. I don't know.
I mean, that's what
idea.
I would say too. I actually think that actually sounds like a cool hockey insult, to be honest with you. Like,
okay, you fucking knobby.
Fucking knobby.
Sounds like British slang or something.
I know. That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, by the way, and I just finished Behind Her Eye, so I'm all the way up on British slang right now. I don't know if you guys have watched that yet, but I got all British slang right now.
Nice. Real quick, shout out another side face for me, Tarasenko. Welcome back to the Blues. So fucking great to see him on the ice skating again, man. And another side heel, Paramount Plus. Where the hell is Jackass and like all the good MTV shows from like the 90s and like early 2000s? It's supposed to have everything on there. I don't know.
You pay for that? Do you pay for that?
It was like $5. Tried it out. I
We have
canceled it
so
immediately.
many. I was going to say we have so many.
I was going to say,
streaming.
I feel like you guys
I
sign up
use
for
Netflix,
all of them.
and that's it.
I want to test them out, see like which ones are the best. Still, nothing tops HBO Max for me. That's still, I think, the best. But Paramount Plus, man, what a dud! I was so excited. I thought we were gonna get like Jackass, Wild Boys, like all that. Nope, none of it.
You sure it's not coming to be?
It might be. The fourth
continued?
movie is coming out, so it could be.
It wasn't that the one that they were advertising like crazy during the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
Is that a different one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah, it's only $5. I mean, but still, it's not worth it. Rocket Power's on it though, so I guess that's a win.
Damn.
Yeah,
that might be worth it.
Right. All right, and that was your face and heel of the week. Let's move on to songs of the week. Songs of the week. Make sure to go check out our playlist exclusively on Spotify at Defender Presents Songs of the Week. Who wants to start it off? Does anybody want to go?
Yeah, sure.
Anyone?
I'll go.
All right. Go ahead and do all three, so that way it speeds up the
Oh,
process.
baby.
Okay. So my first song of the week is a song called "Leave the Door Open" from, I guess they're like a new group, Silk Sonic. It is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Bruno Mars is, I mean, everybody knows Bruno Mars. Anderson .Paak is probably one of my favorite guys in rap, hip hop. This stuff always sounds different, but they formed this group and they're coming out with a new album, it sounds like, but they were on the Breakfast Club. And from what I gathered is they're releasing a new song every Friday.
Yep.
So every Friday there's going to be a new song. So that's interesting. Really cool. Leave the Door Open. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, just like sounds totally different. Last time I was on here, Katie and I discovered that we are one and the same. We can't describe songs. We just say that we both, the song is really good and we like it. So that's where I'm going to leave that one. My next song is the new song from SZA, Good Days. Great R&B, subtle hip hop, I guess, but that one dropped, I think, last month, and just waiting for the next album from her. I originally had 5 songs written down because we were going to do 5, but now I have to narrow it down between the last one. I'm going to go with this is an old song, but yesterday I was listening to some music and this one came on from Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation. Just an all-time classic.
Nice.
I mean, that song
Good
came
for
on
you.
and I was like, damn, I haven't heard that song in so long. And then I just went on a roll and just listened to like 5 or 6 Janet Jackson songs, and it was a good afternoon. But so Silk Sonic, Janet Jackson, and SZA are my 3 songs of the week.
Nice. Duggan, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I was also thinking about this real quick. Next time I'm on, Todd, can we do something where I just do like a half hour to 45-minute face and heel segment? I just have, once I get started, it's kind of, I just have so many things that just keep coming through. Okay. I'm going to forget that, so you got to remind me of that one. But the first one has got to be Drake. It just has to be. I mean, it has to be. It's Lemon Pepper Freestyle. I mean, what else would it be? When Drake drops anything, especially 3 songs, he has to be in the top. It's just a rule. So that's from Scary Hours 2. His new album's going to come, and I hate, for you non-Drake people, for you Drake haters, just be ready. It's literally going to take over the world. I really think it is. So
is he going to rap about crying in the shower again?
That's the thing, is it doesn't matter what. He could literally rap about nothing, and it would still be exceptional. That's the thing.
Is that he's just going to do it
shower.
to make it famous? That's the problem.
Oh, Foshe. I'm assuming. I guess we don't have a lot of Drake fans in the crowd, so I guess I'm riding for my.
I'll ride with Drake.
I'm just indifferent. I mean, I like him, but I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have any cool like fan base nickname for Drake, is there? You have the Beehive.
It's Wheelchair.
Dang.
He was on Degrassi in a wheelchair.
I'd rock a wheelchair for him. Anyway, The number two is, this is an artist that I say every time on here, which is if you're gonna listen to R&B, it has to be one of them, and that's Bryson Tiller. I hate. Here's a heel. All right, here's another one. Deluxe albums. I hate the entire idea and the concept of them, but this is one that I will vouch for. He released this deluxe album, and which is the re-release of his last year's album called Anniversary. It has 5 new songs on it. One of those songs is called Losing Focus. It's just great. It's a masterpiece, actually. I think it's one of the best R&B albums I've heard in a really long time. So Bryson Tiller, Losing Focus. And then third is actually going to be another, I'm going to switch it up just for you, Tricky, which is another instrumental. This one is going to be called Life, and it is by a producer called Cats and Dogs, or a group. And
I've heard of them.
Yeah, probably. The technically, if you look them up on like Apple Music or something, the genre that they fall under is electronica, which that's not really my house, but this seems like much more of I would consider it to be more chill hop. It's more of a down tempo, really chill sampled hip hop than it is electronica, but sometimes it blends over. And if you ever want to catch that blend, by the way, here's the face, right? There's a specific playlist on Apple Music, and it's called The Lounge. I highly recommend it. Those are my 3 songs of the week.
So wait, you don't like deluxe albums?
Yeah, why not? I was going to ask that.
I don't like deluxe albums. No, I'm just like, why isn't that just the album? Why release an album and then a month later, like if I'm a big fan of yours, right? I think Katie's the best singer in the world, right? She drops an album. I'm super excited. And then a month later, I see, Katie dropped another album. I'm like, oh my, what? This is the best year ever. And then it's actually just the exact same album with 2 more songs on it. I'm kind of like, oh, so this is a marketing / like consumer ploy that I always fall for, and I don't like it. And then you have 2 separate albums, and then if you download them, and I don't know, maybe I'm making too big of a deal about it. I'm not sure.
I mean, you do like Blair Witch, so whatever. But next, let's go to Thomas. You want to go next?
Yeah, definitely. Let me pull my list back up. So the first one is really stupid. I saw on Twitter that the pasta company Barilla makes they have music that basically it runs the entire length of the time that you're supposed to cook your pasta, right? So they have a playlist for spaghetti, a playlist for penne, a playlist for linguine. And I found one on Moody Day Linguini, which is what the playlist was. It's called Supermarkets. It's by the artist Birth, Birthh, 2 H's at the end. And it's just kind of a chill, like Italian, kind of folky song. But it's really like, I was like, oh, this one's actually like, I would listen to this while making pasta. I feel good about this. But it was, what a bizarre concept, but also some sweet marketing.
Genius.
They're trying to pull themselves out of some pretty negative PR over the last few years. So I think they're trying to be hip and now.
Thomas, do you play that on an app? Like, where do they? Have
it's on
app?
Spotify. They have a Spotify playlist that they've created. So
that's kind of genius. I kind of really like it.
Right?
It's pretty cool. Yeah. The next one is it's called 2 Weeks by Grizzly Bear. This is a song, if you haven't heard it, you would know it because it's been in a ton of movies, a ton of TV shows. It's just kind of a poppy, I don't know, more of like an alternative type of feel to it. It's like it's like faster Bon Iver, right? Like that's really like the best way that I can describe it. But it's just it was in 2 movies that I watched in January, I think, and it's been like kind of reverberating in my playlists ever since. And then the last one, it's really more of a PSA than anything. The song is called Phone Down by the Lost Kings and Emily Warren. And really, it's just a good reminder to put your fucking phone down.
Love it. All right. Denny, let's go with you.
All righty. So let me just preface this by saying I'm a huge Post Malone fan. And recently, Post Malone did a cover of Hootie and the Blowfish's.
I almost picked this.
I have been, listen, us Post Malone fans are starved right now. He hasn't released an album in a minute. It's been a little bit. He's been featured on some songs and stuff, but, he hasn't really released anything in a while. So I actually hate the original version of this song, but I love Post's version. So, I don't know if that's going to make people angry, but that's just,
I really want him to put out like a grunge album. I think it'd be like really good.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing some stuff with like Ozzy and stuff. He did that tribute to, or he did that live stream on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
the tribute
for
to
Nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love everything that guy puts out. So, and then my number 2, so this is a big switch from that. But recently I've been hitting the gym, and one of my favorite genres to listen to at the gym is obviously, I have a whole mixture, but heavy metal is up there with some stuff. So I have some Megadeth in there, and Peace Sells by Megadeth is my number 2. It's just got a good beat that makes you want to just like yell like a Viking while you're running on the treadmill or something. It just really gets you hyped. So that's currently my favorite song to work out to. And then once again, my number 3, it's total switch from the last one. Weather's been getting nicer outside. It's been getting warmer. Been driving with the windows down and stuff. And this song came on the other day, and it just hit different. And that is "Into the Ocean" by Blue October, which is always a banger. Always a banger. But for some reason, it's just been on replay for me lately. So those are my 3.
Nice. "Into the Ocean" I used to be obsessed with when that song came out.
It's great. I love Blue October.
Naked Ladyy.
I wonder if that's like is that like a millennial thing? If you didn't like Blue October, you're not a millennial.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think
that's part of
it's like one of those things.
Yeah,
it's like them and Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah. Don't make fun of me.
Yeah, I love Breaking Benjamin.
Love Breaking Benjamin.
Yes,
So good.
yes.
I remember going to their concert back in high school because I couldn't buy beer, but I was trying to get someone to buy me beer, and we chickened out because they bought the beer and set it on the curb, and then we were too scared to go pick it up off the curb.
Wow, which wait,
because there were cops there and stuff,
What concert was it though? Was it just them by themselves?
Yeah, and they did a lot of like Metallica, guitar riffs and everything. Oh my god, my aunt took us, and my aunt was like 40 at the time, and she was like this, and I was like, "Who are you?" She's super like Christian and like not that kind of aunt until we went, and I was like, "Wow, you're the cool aunt the whole time."
I haven't been like a rock, air quotes rock guy for probably at least a long time, very many years. But the one show I'll never forget is when I was really young. We went, and it was, I don't know why this happened, but it was Breaking Benjamin, Three Doors Down, and Stained. That was the trio. It was. Yeah,
it wasn't them, but that was.
It was
a good
pretty.
show.
It was pretty epic, man.
You're just missing Creed. That's all you're missing.
I love Creed.
Oh shit! All right, Katie, what's your songs of the week?
It's none of the genre we're talking about, and I honestly couldn't sing any of these songs for you because they're kind of like ones I kind of like, but they're newer. So here you go, 3 songs. Didn't Make It by Charlie Adams.
Don't know that one. What kind of music is that though? What kind of music is that?
Don't even
like
know.
What would you describe it? How would you describe it? I'm gonna look it up.
Todd, sing it. You know this one.
I don't know it.
You put on my playlist. You know it.
Oh, then it's a total indie song then. So it's probably an indie alternative.
Yeah.
Probably alternative.
That's a good way to describe it. Valley of the Pagans by Gorillaz and Beck. So it's like a Gorillaz song, but kind of toned down.
It's a really good song, actually.
I Wonder by Sally Boy, which is like a total indie song. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of new music lately.
There really hasn't. It's been kind of quiet the last few weeks, in my opinion.
I'm like digging at the bottom of the barrel of music I like.
I need to listen to that new Kings of Leon album that came out last week.
No.
Yeah, I want to. My 3 songs of the week this week. First off, I'm going to just go with some Mac Miller, The Spins.
Wow.
Forgot how much I like that song.
Foshe's probably super happy about that.
Yeah.
Just listening to on the way home. Yeah, the song is so good. That song does not get enough recognition for how good that song really is. My number 2, go shout out to Tay Verdes. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but
Didn't
Stuck
you say
in the Middle.
Didn't you say that last week?
I said Drugs by him last week.
Oh, okay.
It's literally like the only other song he has out. I think he has actually another song out.
You need to know how to pronounce his name. since
I
you're
know.
gonna pick him every week now.
I know. I was gonna ask him on the podcast too, but I can't pronounce his fucking name. Because he messaged me on Instagram. He's like, "Hey man, thanks for the support." I'm like, "Whoa, cool. You reached out to me. You want to come on the show?"
I don't know how to pronounce your name.
You gotta
There
get his
we
name
go.
then. Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's really, really good. But Stuck in the Middle. I'm gonna go Thai Verdes. And my number one song, which you'll hear in its entirety at the end of today's show, unless you're on YouTube, will not be on there. Leave the Door Open, Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. What's the band name again, Foshe?
Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic. It is so good. It is just a throwback to like almost like a Motown like sound and like jazz, like old school R&B. It is just so good. Bruno Mars, in my opinion, just can't do any wrong. And lately I've been feeling the same way about Anderson .Paak. So
Definitely.
yeah, so that is your song of the week. And that was Songs of the Week. Make sure to go check out our playlist exclusively on Spotify at Offender Presents Songs of the Week, which I updated today finally. So definitely go check that out.
Finally, good job.
So I think the next time that I'm on, if I'm invited back or whoever wants to take this idea, I think I'm just gonna pull up my phone for songs of the week and just hit shuffle, and whatever song comes on, that's gonna be the one that's gonna be on. And I should have done that. Real nervous because I'm guarantee like a Disney song is gonna come on like that I have on there. I'm be like, damn, now I gotta talk about this one. But I think that's gonna be my strategy next time.
Yeah, if I had to do the songs that I listen to all the time, it would be just Coco Melon and Baby Shark and Toy Story songs. I mean, so yeah, those are probably the like when I look at the most played at the end of the year, those are going to be probably top 3. So, but we can do those. I mean, I'm happy to. I probably know those better than any current music. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to just like at some point, I would love. It'd be hilarious to see what everybody's 3 random shuffles brought up. Be like, oh.
It's actually a really good idea. We should totally do that next time.
You never know.
Yeah, we're definitely doing that next time. That's a great idea. All right, let's do it. This is kind of like a little test what we're gonna do next because we've had this idea for a while to do this giant like 64 movie tournament. So it's kind of a test run here. And since WandaVision just ended last week, I figured we should do, in my opinion, the 8 best MCU movies and we're going to break it down in a tournament. I haven't seen the bracket yet. I put the movies in this bracket app that I have, but I have no idea what's going up against what. So this could get pretty interesting. And here we go. All right. Oh, shit. Okay. This is going to suck. All right. So we have 8 movies, 8 MCU movies. And first up, we're going Guardians of the Galaxy versus Captain America Civil War.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's your vote?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason why?
I like aliens better than Captain America.
I like the strategy.
Yeah, feel free to jump in. Let's go with Duggan. Let's go with you first. What's your pick?
Second, because I was first, Todd. You forgot about me.
Let's go with Duggan first.
Jeez. Which Captain America was it?
Civil War. So it's the one where he's basically fighting Iron Man the whole time. And like,
I just Guardians of the Galaxy is cool and all, but it's just not really my thing. So I actually think so. A million years ago in the beginning of COVID, I did the whole chronological order of Marvel, and not gonna lie, my memory is kind of janky and I forgot a lot, but I do know that like out of the series wise, I think Captain America stood out the most to me. I really enjoyed the Captain America, even though Captain America as a character annoys the hell out of me. So I'm going Captain America because Guardian of the Galaxy it just wasn't at the top for me.
All right. 1-1, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's go, Denny. Let's go with you next.
Man, I'm so torn right now. I got to tell you, because here's the thing, like Civil War. Oh man, I just remember when Civil War was coming out, there was so much hype. Like they were introducing, Black Panther and then Spider-Man, and it was like, damn, like this is about to be super sick. Mm-hmm. But then Guardians of the Galaxy was something like completely different. It was funny and it was just a good time. So, oh man, it's literally, I mean, they're neck and neck. But I guess if I had to choose one, I'd probably say Civil War.
So
just by a little, but.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too, like which one have you seen more? Because honestly, I've probably seen Guardians of the Galaxy more, which maybe that plays into this vote. Like maybe you know what I mean? Like maybe I've just seen it more. I don't know.
But if you want to watch it more, then that's that's proof right there. But yeah,
Sure.
I would probably say I've seen Civil War more. So
all right, 2-1 Civil War. Let's go, Thomas.
Yeah, I think Civil War it's hard for me to pick, and it's only because of my extreme expectations that I had. Civil War at the time was my favorite comic storyline, and so for to watch that play out in the MCU was there was nothing they could have done. It's not their fault. Like that, that's the problem with comics being turned into movies. Like you get this idea in your head, especially if you're a huge comic book nerd, like this idea of what it's supposed to be. And then when it's not, it's like, well, why didn't they do this? It's like Civil War is a really, really good movie. And it just didn't live up to what I wanted. Whereas Guardians was one that I didn't go in with any expectations, was very hilarious. If you've read my blog on Anything But Credible and going off topic, you'll know that I have a strong love in my heart for Dave Bautista for many reasons. And so, what he did in that movie, like not only proved that he was an actor first, but also just like he carried the entire movie with like his performance. And so for me, I think there's probably a soft spot there, but I think it's got to be Guardians for me. I think that I didn't think this until I did my rewatch chronologically. I actually think Civil War is the weakest of the Captain Americas.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. You guys are actually, the more I listen to you, the more I feel like you're turning me. I really do.
Let's go, Foshe. Let's go. Do you next?
Yeah, so everybody said, how important these movies are. I feel like both of them are real important in the MCU. I was actually talking to Duggan earlier when we were talking about this idea. Then I need to go back and that's going to be my next project, is to do the Avengers rewatch, because it's been a long time since I've seen some of these movies, and some I've only seen once. Love Guardians of the Galaxy. The cast is great, but I think I'm going to go Civil War just based off of, I think it was more important to the MCU overall and did more to progress the story. And, like Denny said, it's got Black Panther, Spider-Man becomes a bigger character, and I'm a sucker for Spider-Man. I think he's probably my favorite superhero or action, whatever you want to say. So I'm going to go with Civil War on that.
All right. So now it is 3-3 or 3-2. I just gave away my answer.
Well, I mean, one way or another, yeah.
I'm going to go with Guardians, just because of the soundtrack alone.
Yeah,
for me.
That's fair.
That soundtrack is phenomenal. Probably the greatest movie soundtrack ever. Maybe Space Jam's a close second. But Civil War, to me, I went into it kind of like with what Thomas was saying. I went to it with high expectations. And this is one of the movies that I just recently watched because I missed out on a few MCU movies. And I really wasn't that impressed by it. I actually thought Winter Soldier is way better than Civil War. And
that's true.
I don't think that movie gets enough credit for how good that movie really is. But Civil War, when it came out, was massive, so I felt like I had to put it in here. But I'm going with Guardians, so that means it is 3-3. And what we do in this situation as a tiebreaker, we will go to the tomato meter, and we will see.
Oh, Guardians got to be better than that, right?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
would imagine
Guardians. Yeah.
Has to be.
Tricky, which one are you looking up?
I'm looking up Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy has a 92%.
And what is it? I shouldn't have been doing this when I forgot what it was called.
Civil War.
Winter Soldier. That's right.
No,
Nope,
Civil War.
Winter Soldier.
Civil War.
Oh,
I kind of want to change my vote to Guardians anyway. You guys really talked me into it, to be honest with you. But it looks
Civil
like
War is a 90, so
nice.
Guardians will
still
move on.
90s. Are all these movies in the 90th percentile? Because that's impressive. If that's okay, yeah,
Not Ant-Man.
Yeah, there's
that doesn't deserve that. Yeah, you're right.
Poor Paul Rudd.
Disrespectful to Paul Rudd, but it is what it is.
Next,
I got problems,
next up, let's go with Black Panther versus the one that started it all, Iron Man.
Oh,
Katie, go ahead and lead us off.
Iron Man.
But that's your pick.
Yeah.
Any reason?
No, I don't know. I liked them both.
Question mark.
I It was cool, but like I feel like Iron Man had more of I don't know. I don't even know. No, I don't know. I have no idea. Iron Man.
She's abstaining.
You're just going with Iron Man.
Yeah, I feel like I wanted everybody loved Black Panther. Everybody loved Black Panther, and I love Black Panther too, but I feel like I expected I don't want to say it was corny because it wasn't, but there were some moments where I was like, oh, it's a little cheesy or a little
Like the CGI. Like
yeah, maybe that's what it was. So I feel like Iron Man was more like 100% realistic, even though it's not realistic at all. So
all right.
I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
All right. Duggan.
Yeah, I actually thought when I went through my rewatch, the first two Iron Mans, my memory had me kind of chucking them off as just kind of like whatever movies, but they were actually way better than I remember. They are really good, but for me, it's Black Panther hands down. Black Panther, when I saw that, it had a different vibe to it. It just had a different kind of sense to it, and I do get the corniness. I feel like that corniness for me is kind of on all of these movies to some part, but the overall, and I got to be honest with you, like Michael B. Jordan, I didn't like absolutely love his performance, but overall, when I walked out of Black Panther, I just had a different feeling than I did for all of the other Marvel movies, and that's not really even a great explanation. I can't really bring it down to you. It's just that I just had a different vibe about it. So I think everything that goes into it kind of is a combination of that vibe.
All
so
right.
Black Panther for me.
Black Panther. All right. 1-1. And I need to shout out real quickly. I'm not going in order. So whoever wins this is not facing Guardians of the Galaxy the next round. I want to keep it suspenseful, I guess you could say. Who went after Duggan last time? It
was Denny.
Denny.
Okay, so I feel like this might. Okay, so let me start off by saying that Iron Man, he might be my favorite character in the MCU, and if he's not my favorite, he's top 3. I really, really like Black Panther. It is good, but I think it was oversold to me a little bit when I was going to see it because I saw it maybe like a week after it came out, and everybody was like coming up to me and they were like, "This is like one of the next best MCU movies," and I was like, I watched it and I was like, it was good. I did like it a lot, but I didn't think it was like It was good for what it was, but I got to go with Iron Man just because it's my favorite character, Robert Downey Jr. started the whole thing, So that's my answer.
All right. 2-1 Iron Man. Thomas, what you got?
Oh man, yeah, this one is exceedingly difficult for the reasons that you all have mentioned. One of the things that I always also try to take into account, and since we're on a podcast that talks about faces and heels, I always think about like the villains, right, and villains that leave a mark, and I would argue that both of these villains left a mark, and were memorable for different reasons. But I think that Killmonger was probably a more memorable villain in my opinion. We talked about soundtrack for Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the same thing can be said for Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
It just had it like you said, it was a different feel. Duggan, like you said, like it was just completely new. But you know what it reminded me of, and especially now, it reminded me of it then. But now that there's actually a newer version out, it reminds me of The Lion King. It has a lot of similarities, especially with the live action version, including the dream sequence where he goes and sees his father and talks to him about being king and things like that. And The Lion King is an amazing movie also. So I'm going to stick with the jungle animals and say Black Panther.
Love that. Hey, real quick for the group, is Iron Man 1 the best Iron Man?
Oh
Yes, by far.
Okay.
I actually think the
so.
sequels suck personally.
I really didn't love the third one a whole lot. I think it's the second one and I didn't love, but
second one was I wasn't huge on. I like the third one, love the first one. Second one's
Mm-hmm.
It's a good matchup. It's a good matchup, Todd.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the 2 and 3 at all. It's that scene in the third one when they're like holding each other, flying like in the air. I was just like, oh, turn this off. Like, that just totally ruined the movie for me. Foshe, 2-2. What you got?
So this isn't particularly close for me. I'm going Black Panther hands down. Just like Thomas mentioned, the soundtrack, and arguably, you mentioned that Guardians of the Galaxy is a great soundtrack, but a lot of those songs were already like pre-made songs. I feel like they made a lot of these songs for Black Panther, and that's just, I've almost brought up some some of the songs for songs of the week. The cultural impact this movie has. I mean, everybody mentioned Killmonger. I think it's one of the Black Panther arguably is like maybe a top 20 movie for me of all time. I've watched it a bunch. I've seen it a lot of times. Daniel Kaluuya, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o. I mean, the cast is incredible. The movie is incredible. And it's not relatively close to Iron Man for me. So I'm going Black Panther easy.
All right, 3-2 comes down to me again. As much as I love you, Robert Downey Jr., Black Panther gets my pick.
Wow.
Wow.
Again, soundtrack plays a big factor for me. But I just love Chadwick Boseman in that movie. I mean, you can ask for a better Black Panther. Like, I mean, he was perfect. R.I.P. But another thing that I remember, like when this movie first came out, Michael B. Jordan kind of got ragged on for like his role as Killmonger. But I think as like time has gone on, people have kind of slowly turned on that. And I think everybody's kind of more in agreement now that he's actually probably one of the best villains in the entire MCU. So just that alone, and the scene where I think it's the dream sequence when he's seeing his father and the aesthetics in the background, the coloring in the sky and everything. I mean, that scene is so beautifully shot and so well done. That just gets my vote right there. That whole scene wins me over. So I'm going Black Panther. Black Panther takes it 4-2. Next,
do you want to know what if there was a tie? I have the stats pulled up.
I think Black Panther is like a 90. Like,
I don't know, dude. People love Iron Man 1.
Are we going off the tomato meter or the audience score?
Tomato meter.
Okay, so Black Panther is 96% and Iron Man is 94%.
Wow.
That was a close one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
All right. Next up, these next two matchups in the first round to finish off the first round are really hard. Let's go Winter Soldier versus Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Katie, go ahead.
Which one was Ragnarok?
It's one cold, Hey, big rock guy over here.
Because I didn't like the other ones.
Don't need to be intimidated. Just made a rock unless you made a scissors. Oh, just a little paper rock scissors joke for you.
It would.
I don't know. Can I not go first on this one?
It's off, Ghost.
This one I don't know. I need to hear other opinions.
I'll go. I can step in.
Yeah, you step in.
For me, it's Thor Ragnarok. I think actually this is one of the most well done out of all of those series. I remember that when we made our way through chronologically, this movie did not come in, I believe, if I remember correctly, until very late, like in the upper to mid teens, like 15 or something like that.
2017.
It stood out to me. Like it was like a standout. I thought everything was great. And honestly, definitely don't love the second Thor, but this first Thor was like, okay. And this really is if I think of Thor, it's always Ragnarok. I always go back to it and only that. So it doesn't even matter. Like Captain America's cool, but for me, it's Thor Ragnarok for sure.
All right. There you go. 1-0 Thor Ragnarok. Denny?
What's terrible is I haven't seen Winter Soldier in a really long time, but I know it's great and I know that I love it, but Ragnarok is more fresh on my mind, and I think it's just a more fun, lighthearted, or if you can even call it that, but you know what I mean. It's got fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got arguably the two strongest Avengers in it, and I think, and it's also like the piece right before the Thanos stuff starts to happen. It like leads right into that, and it just gets you super hyped. So I'm probably going to go with. I think I'm going to go with Ragnarok as well.
All right. 2-0 Ragnarok. Thomas.
Before Ragnarok, which probably gives this away, Winter Soldier was my favorite movie in the MCU, and it's a phenomenal movie. It's obviously extremely different from the rest of the MCU. Again, one of the things, and I also think time was not kind to Winter Soldier, not because of Winter Soldier itself, but because of what happened to the characters after. I think the way, like what they did for Bucky, for the Winter Soldier, like they set him up to be like the baddest ass in the entire MCU. And after Civil War, that really fell apart. Like they just forgot about him. And they had too many mouths to feed, and that is what it is. But because of that, it suffers. Ragnarok is the best use of all of those actors. It has great cameos also. Jeff Goldblum being in there, always a good time for everybody. It's Ragnarok. I won't keep keep expounding.
All right, 3-0 Ragnarok. Foshe.
Yeah, this one again is not relatively close for me. It is Thor Ragnarok. Probably Black Panther and this movie are the two that stick with me the most, just from like memorable and things that happen. Taika Waititi bringing his outside influence, I think, was huge for the whole series and kind of not regenerated, but kind of made it kind of made people like more interested in Thor, because the second one was really bad, and then this one came along and people were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And I feel like it's really built up for the next one that's coming out. You get Fat Thor, you get all of those different funny situations. So I'm going Thor Ragnarok as well.
Yeah, Korg and Fat Thor together.
Yeah,
are
it's
just
so funny.
Yep,
It's so funny.
There he is again. New Master 6ix9ine. Just called me a dickhead again.
It's so funny. I will say that it kind of annoys me though a little bit when Hulk becomes back to Bruce Banner. Dr. Banner he's just so whiny, but I get why he's whiny, but he like kind of annoys me a little bit. That's my only, if I was to pick nits, that'd be my nitpick.
Right. You go ahead.
I was just it's totally off topic. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I hate what the MCU did with Hulk towards the end, because they kind of
what is Hulk? Like that's a good point. That actually is a really good point.
They couldn't commit with either one, so they like met in the middle and made him like he's the Hulk, but he's also not really any. He's just a big green Bruce Banner. You know what I mean? He's not really like
basically what he becomes though in the comics is he's just Hulk the whole time, but he learns how to like be a person as the Hulk though.
So
the anecdotal name is Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
That's kind of, so yeah, there is storyline precedence for it.
Wait, so does he live like
I think it can't be jarring.
Does he live like life as Hulk? He like lives a normal life as Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. When you do that, I don't know who else has done the chronological order thing, but the first movie that you start off with is the first Hulk, which is just like, oh, so we're gonna start off. We're gonna start off on this.
Oh, that movie was so bad too. That almost ended everything before it started.
So I honestly, we had to pay. This was last year. We paid. I think it was like $4.99, and I don't care about renting movies, but man, that one was rough. I had to think about getting my money back somehow on that one.
Are you talking about the Edward Norton Hulk or the one before that? Really?
Yeah, Ed Norton.
Are you talking about that one?
I am.
I think that one's okay.
Yeah,
it's the one before that is horrible.
Yeah, with
which
the
one?
Hulk poodles.
The Eric Bana Hulk.
Eric
Bana Hulk.
They got Hulk poodles in that movie.
I don't even know what that is.
Don't watch it.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
Fucking so bad.
All right. I kind of need to look it up now.
Like if you want to watch a really shitty movie, there you go. It's hard to watch. Like it is extremely hard to watch.
I was upset with that Norton one, so I don't even want to know what that's like.
Not like that it matters. Thor Ragnarok's going to go on, but Katie, did you?
What'd you decide?
It'll be Thor. I just can't remember Winter Soldier, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't.
Here's Winter Soldier for you. It is very well done, but it's just like a whole. You want to talk about whining? Like Captain America just whines the entire movie about his BFF, dude. He whines the whole movie.
It's true. It's like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. It's awful.
I've heard people that say that movie literally has like turned them away from the Captain America series just because of how Captain America is the whole time.
See, I think it's like one of the best MCU movies, but I'm going with Thor Ragnarok also, a clean sweep, 6-0. But I have to shout out Waititi. How do you pronounce his first name again? Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
This guy is, I have a man crush on this guy. This guy is awesome. Like everything he has done, everything he has touched has been hysterical. It has been good. I don't know if you guys ever seen What We Do in the Shadows, but that movie, that's the first movie I discovered him in. And I think he wrote and directed that too. He's hilarious in that. Basically, it's a mockumentary movie like The Office, but about vampires. It's a spun off on a TV show now. But him as Korg in that movie, I mean, holy shit. That Korg steals that entire movie for me. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok. And the last matchup in the first round, we're going Spider-Man Homecoming versus Avengers Endgame. Katie, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just going to pick one. I have no reason. Endgame, because it was everybody in it. I don't know. Yeah, Endgame.
Okay.
This is not my cup of tea.
No, I'm kind of with you, Katie. Like I have watched these movies. I can't say that I'm a huge comic book just fan, but you know they're cool, whatever. But you know, I feel like Spider-Man kind of gets the bad rap here because I don't know. I honestly personally don't know how you cannot pick Endgame. I feel like it has to be Endgame just because of everything that leads up. I don't know. I mean, it's almost not fair just because there's so much that leads up to Endgame that I don't even know if any of the single movies could even compare just because of the storyline accumulation as a whole. But I think it's a hands down Endgame for me.
All right, 2-0 Endgame. Denny.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy for me too, to be honest. But can I ask? So you said this is the last round?
Yes, or the end of the first round. Yeah.
So, are you not a huge fan of Infinity War?
Thank you, Denny.
I do like Infinity War.
I need to know this too.
I almost actually combined them together because I feel like it's just one big movie in general.
That's fair.
Oh, okay.
But I went with Endgame just because it is the second highest grossing movie of all time. And I just feel like I had to pick that just because we literally get everybody in this one. So
right.
Do we all agree that Infinity War is better than Endgame?
That was going to be my next point.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had to choose between those two, I would definitely pick Infinity War.
I think I might too, actually.
I might be in the minority here. I disagree. I like Endgame.
I mean, they're close. It's not like a huge difference, but I think that Endgame is probably, in my opinion, the best MCU movie. But
can I ask one more question about both of those real quick for the group? So I remember when these first came out, there was like a whole bunch of people just like slandering these movies because of what's his name, the big purple dude,
Thanos.
Yeah, but who plays Thanos? I forget his name.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin, right? There's like this big thing of Josh Brolin's going to be animated and blah blah. After watching it though, I actually thought that it was well done. I really kind of liked him as the guy. How is everyone's feelings about Thanos as a whole, as a character in the movies?
Oh, I think he's one of the best characters in the MCU.
I feel like he got dragged for a long time for like them doing this animated villain thing. Maybe not. Maybe I would make that up.
What's really cool about Avengers, about Thanos, is when you watch the making of it, that actor's actually there making it, and they're taking his screen grabs of his face and like his movements and everything. So what you're seeing is actually just almost a filter over his body, and he's still acting it. Like that's why it works for me like really well.
Gotcha.
They say in wrestling, there's this idea, right, of when you are a heel, you speak the truth even if nobody wants to hear it, right? There's enough truth in there that pisses you off, right? Mm-hmm. And Thanos had so much of that that I mean, I just think that he was like a perfect villain. Like you're just like, oh yeah, no, you're doing this the wrong way, but the thought behind it is like you're a hardcore radical environmentalist. Like, dude, like, yeah, I'm on board, but maybe don't kill everybody. Find some middle ground here.
Who are you going with, Thomas?
I have to go Endgame, but I wanted to make the same point as Denny. If this was Infinity War, it would have been even more clear to me. I think Endgame again. I think Infinity War did a really good job of like trying to get all of the pieces put together. And I feel like Endgame, especially because obviously like most people weren't in it until the end, like it really tried too hard to like put everything together and did my girl wrong, which I'm so glad we got WandaVision because Scarlet Witch is the best, just the best. And especially in the comics, like there's just so much around her. And so for that to come through in WandaVision, I think was great. Because prior to that, like she did really great, obviously in Endgame, she kicked a lot of ass, but she was in it for 5 minutes and doing my girl dirty. So, but it is Endgame. Yeah, absolutely over Spider-Man.
Is everybody caught up on WandaVision, by the way?
No, I haven't watched it, but it's okay. You can spoil if you want. But I was just curious, do they mention WandaVision anything about her losing her Russian accent throughout the course of that? Do they? Okay.
They make fun of it a couple of times.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool.
There's a tie-in to the show that I really want to bring up, but if you haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil it because it's a major tie-in. And
all right, then please don't. I would appreciate that.
Huge crossover, so I'm excited. But Foshe, let's go to you. 3-0 Endgame as of now.
Yeah, so I think Endgame is going to move on, but
Or four.
just for posterity's sake, I'm going to vote for Spider-Man. Like I said, probably my favorite comic book person. Tom Holland is amazing. Michael Keaton, Marissa Tomei, Jon Favreau, Zendaya, and of course one of my all-time favorite people in the world, Donald Glover. I've seen all the old Spider-Man movies, and they're fine, but I'll watch them just because I love Spider-Man. But when Tom Holland came on, I was like, I mean, these are incredible. These are a whole different level. So these are, I mean, I'm voting Spider-Man just because of, just for posterity. So he at least gets a vote,
Right. I am also going with Spider-Man, even though it doesn't matter. It's 4-2. Endgame will move on. But Spider-Man is my second favorite superhero of all time. Batman, number one. So I got Batman and Spider-Man in the same movie together. So can't go wrong there. But Tom Holland, watching that movie, I felt like we finally got the Spider-Man we've always wanted, like the movie we always wanted. I personally hate the Tobey Maguire movies. I can't stand those movies. I think Tom Holland is perfect as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I think he hits the nail on the head every time. And I personally can't wait for this next Spider-Man. If the rumors, I mean, I'm assuming it's all true with the multiverse and everything, I cannot wait. That might end up being the greatest MCU movie of all time come December.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right. In the second round we go, and we're gonna go with Endgame versus Black Panther. Katie, go ahead.
I don't know.
I don't know. This every time.
I know. This is not. I should have been the moderator for this, so you wouldn't have like ties. I don't know. I'm gonna say Black Panther only because I think Endgame was rushed in a way that Black Panther was not.
Okay. All right. Well, nothing. Black Panther, Duggan.
Yeah, I just, as much as I love Black Panther, I just think that, like I said before, and I feel like this is the hard part when you do Endgame or Infinity, just in general, because I just feel like the story that accumulates up to that point is really hard to ignore. That as a film itself, it's like you can't almost judge it as an independent film because it's made specifically to end this story. It's not made like all these other films. So Black Panther is really far up there, but I'll say this, Endgame is, I don't know. I don't think it's the highest ranked film on here, but it has to be the most money making film, and it has to be just the biggest overall. I'm just going to go Endgame just for the legacy behind it. I don't even know. I don't know if any, here's a question for the group. Like, with the difference in the way that this is made, can any individual movie top this? I don't know. I mean, somebody has to prove me wrong on that one.
Spider-Man might. The next one really might. If you're going to tie in all the old Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire into the next Spider-Man movie, this next Spider-Man movie might be absolutely insane. So we'll see. But yeah, solid points there. So you're going with Endgame, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to Endgame, yeah.
So 2-0 Endgame, isn't it? That's what Katie said, I think. Yeah, okay. Denny, over to you.
So no hate on Black Panther, but it's not even close. I mean, Black Panther's still good, obviously, but it's got to be Endgame. There's just so many moments. Like they did such a good job wrapping everything up and setting up, basically paving the way for the next group of Avengers and stuff. And you got Cap getting the hammer, and just so many moments where it's like, I don't know, just everything you want to see in the MCU movies. And I got to go with Endgame.
All right. 3-0 Endgame. I really want to edit this video and slowly zoom in on Foshe's face as everybody keeps picking Endgame.
Did Katie say Endgame or did she say Black Panther? I need her to come back and vote.
I think she said Black Panther.
He rides so hard for Black Panther.
Can't hear you, Katie.
I said Black Panther.
Okay. Oh, you did say Black Panther. Okay,
here we go.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. This
okay, so
it's
only 2-1.
We're still alive. We're still alive.
Thomas.
Yeah, it's Black Panther. Again, like Endgame was great, but it wasn't Infinity War, and I think that's a hard sticking point for me, just because of, like, it should have been better. and not that it wasn't great. I think it tied things up very well. I just think they did too much, frankly, and I think that they couldn't quite get out of that. The one thing in Endgame's favor is that there's actual stakes, which is important to me in movies like this. Whereas like Black Panther doesn't have the same stakes, and certainly at the end, like nothing essentially comes of it, right? Like it's like every other superhero movie. It's like, okay, well, we went through that and the hero got through. Whereas like both Infinity War and Endgame had like actual stakes to it, but still, to me, like I think Black Panther it's the more complete movie. It's to me the more enjoyable watch.
All right,
Makes sense.
2-2 over the Foshe.
Yeah, so like you said, you know where my vote is. It's Black Panther. I think Avengers Endgame was, probably the most fun theater going experience I had. I went opening weekend by myself. My wife was working, had probably the worst seat in the theater. Sitting on the end on the side of the screen, but I mean, it was a lot of fun going and checking that out. But like I said, I think Black Panther, just the cultural significance it had. I mean, I can't speak specifically to that, as everyone can see on the YouTube. I'm a white 30-year-old man, but listening to, different podcasts and different people talk about the cultural experience it had for, the Black community, and, a Black kid seeing a superhero for the first time that looks like them. And just like you said, the soundtrack, the actors, I think the importance of that film is the reason that I would vote for Black Panther.
All right. Goes to me 3-2 Black Panther. Shit. This is rough.
Yeah, it is tough because I honestly vote. Like everybody talking makes me also like you guys. Maybe I'm just too gullible, but you already taught me into Black Panther again. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to turn it on right now.
Endgame ties everything together. It's the end.
Wayne or Garth?
You'd like a vote?
That's Garth. It's
Garth.
But Endgame ties everything together. It's the end of this giant, long saga that has gone on. But like Foshe said, the cultural impact that Black Panther have is just so unique, and it's so awesome to see. And the movie itself was it's just such an epic adventure, like a ride. It's just so good. I'm going Black Panther. Black Panther.
Okay.
I think that's a great decision. I think if it would have came down to the tiebreaker, I think Black Panther would have won anyway, to be honest with you.
It would have. I looked it up by 2%.
Yeah.
So
would it have beat Infinity Wars though? That's what I'm wondering. What was Infinity War? I don't see it anywhere. Why have I not seen it? It would have dominated it. That actually doesn't have that great of a rating compared to everything.
No,
else.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Interesting.
Is Endgame higher than Infinity War?
Endgame.
It is.
Did I just have it?
What I'm looking at says Infinity War has an 85% tomato meter.
And
Infinity War was only 85?
And Endgame is 94.
And Endgame has 94.
This is why I said earlier that we should debate the merits of the tomato meter.
Thomas, everything I literally live off of the tomato meter. Like that is I literally like rank things in life off of my tomato meter.
I do get it.
Thomas is just slowly following more and more into Thanos' thinking.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And the semi-final matchup, arguably the two funniest movies of the MCU, the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok. Katie, go ahead.
Guardians.
All right.
I like those aliens better than the mythical gods. So.
All right. Duggan, 1-0 Guardians.
Yeah, the more I've actually been thinking about this matchup because I was kind of everyone talked me into Guardians after I kind of went against them, but I love Thor so much and it stands out to me. But really, though, I definitely have out of all these movies I've seen Guardians the most by far, and I just think overall the cast and the characters, even though they're not my favorite characters, I think everything was really well done. And I think Thomas's point last time to Bautista really, just like everybody did not only their part, but like a really exceptional job. Even the voice acting of Bradley Cooper, even though like the raccoon's not a real person, but I don't know. I actually think that as much as I love Ragnarok, which I really do love that movie, I think I'm going to go Guardians. I do. I think I'm going to go Guardians.
2-0 Guardians. Denny, over to you.
First of all, let me say I think this is like the perfect matchup. If you're gonna get two MCU movies together that were like very similar, these are perfect to go up against each other because they're both, just like I said before, they're both just fun and not too serious, you know. But I think for me, I think Thor Ragnarok just has a little more rewatchability for me, just a little. So I'm gonna go with Thor Ragnarok.
All right. 2-1. Thomas, over to you.
Well, hearing Duggan talk about my own argument may have swayed me back. So I think I am going to go Guardians, but by the slightest margin. I just think it feels a little more cohesive to me as a movie. Like I feel like there's a very direct, like, even though there's a lot of different kind of competing elements and people have their own motives and things like that, it feels like it all comes together in a way that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like there are pieces of Ragnarok, even though I think it's really excellent, that like just kind of seems shoehorned in there a little bit. Case in point, like I think they spent like way too much time on the battle planet. I think especially for what was going on in Asgard, like it just felt like they really, and which was great because that's where a lot of the comedy of the movie is. But it's I think like to me, Guardians is a little more cohesive. So I'll, by a slight edge, I'll go Guardians.
I also just want to add. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
I just also want to just real quick. I just want to add in there too that one of my like low key favorite things about all the Marvel is the little arrow thing that guy whistles. I just really love the idea behind all that. I don't know why, but I love the idea that he just whistles and it just like dominates everybody in an entire room. And so that's also like a weird thing that I go for.
It's like your secret wish for if you could have superpowers, be like the arrow thing. And,
yeah, it's just one of those things, you know. I don't know. It just really stands out to me. I thought, and I really think that guy. I forget his name, but he's in a bunch of stuff. But the dude with the mohawk, I love that guy. He's great, man.
Yeah,
he was great in that actor was great in The Walking Dead. He was so
Michael
good in that
Rooker.
show.
He was
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My question is, do you think Thor would win hands down if the first two were as good as the third? Because I feel like that's why I don't like Thor as much as I like Guardians, because I like all of the Guardians, but the Thors I'm like meh, and then I like the third one. The second one's horrible. So
I actually, admittedly, I have not ever seen the first two Thor movies, which that
They're
might be
not
weird,
good.
but I just haven't ever had the urge to watch them. I just don't care really. To be honest.
First one's really. I like the first one.
Todd, you're a big Twitter guy. Isn't there kind of like a weird Twitter resurgence for the Dark World coming back? People are weird.
Yeah.
That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
That's just
So
weird,
weird.
man. I could not get in. I really tried. I really tried to get into the second one. I couldn't. It's okay. I think that's a good point, Katie. I really do, because I don't know. I feel like you're definitely onto something. I think so.
I still haven't actually seen. There's 3 movies in the MCU I still haven't seen.
Still?
Dark World is one of them.
I'm like liar.
I am like
liar.
I am holding off on it because I've just heard such shit things.
You
about
have
it.
to watch it now, because I now want to
know.
know if you kind of like it or not.
Captain Marvel's another. That's one I've been like meaning to watch, and Ant-Man. So I have 4 movies then, because I haven't seen the sequel to Ant-Man either.
You'll be okay.
I was gonna say, I would argue the second Ant-Man's one of the least. I don't. It wasn't that great, in my opinion. But.
No, it was terrible. Actually, I to be honest with you, I didn't love Captain Marvel either. Unfortunately, I really wanted to. I just didn't.
All right, so it's 3-1 Guardians. Over to you, Foshe.
So yeah, everybody's brought up some great points. So I'm just gonna make it short and sweet. I'm gonna vote for Thor Ragnarok just because I feel like it's more memorable. I've seen Guardians a bunch too, but I feel like that's just because it's always on TV and it's always on TBS or TNT or whatever. But I think Ragnarok is more memorable to me, and I like that one just a little bit more. So I'm gonna vote Thor Ragnarok.
All right. It's exactly what Doug used to say. See you later, Doug. Not going with that though. I'm going with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
I was obsessed with that movie when it came out, so definitely going with that. And I have to go with the guy with the wrestler. Oh my god, I can't speak. Got ass mouth. Have to go with the movie with the wrestler in it. There we go. I host a podcast.
Wait, so does that put Guardians against Black Panther in the
Yes,
finals?
it does. The
Oh,
finals
boy.
is here. Guardians of the Galaxy versus Black Panther, and I have an inkling on how this is going to go. So,
Wow.
Katie,
I
go
don't.
ahead.
I don't know. I don't know. I maybe it's because I've only seen Black Panther once, and I'm not like in love with the movie. I don't.
So you're probably going with Guardians of the Galaxy. I would have to imagine.
I
after
guess.
that.
I don't know. Everybody else loves Black Panther, and I saw it once in the theaters, and I was like, "That's a damn good movie," but it's not like my go-to Avengers movie.
Right. So Guardians for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be the least popular opinion.
Wouldn't be the first time. Okay, over to you, Duggan.
I think this is tough, man. I really do. And I think what it comes down for me is it goes down to the vibes, man. And I'm going vibes here. I'm going Black Panther. And here's why, because I think when you boil it all down, not only is it well done, and, I loved every part about both of these movies. I really did. But there's something special. And I will always remember this because I think Black Panther is the only Marvel movie that I saw in theaters, first of all, out of all of these, seriously.
Oh, wow.
And the other thing is every action hero movie, especially the Marvel movies, the comic book movies, whatever, they all have some kind of signature score. They all have some kind of signature. A lot of it is like string heavy. It's kind of like epic. Like, yeah, we're about to kick ass. Black Panther comes in the theaters with 808 bass just pounding, and it just gave me this different feeling that I was like, I just felt at home. I really did. I was like, this is unbelievable. And I'm going off the vibes, man. And then that is everything that has to do with Black Panther. So I think I'm going Black Panther.
All right. 1-1. Denny?
I agree a lot with what Katie said. It really sounds, I don't want it to sound like I don't like Black Panther because I do like it. I just think it got I don't know. It was a little overhyped to me. It was really good, but I don't know. I think I enjoyed Guardians just a little bit more. So I'm going to go with Guardians.
All right. 2-1 Guardians. Thomas, over to you.
Two of the best soundtracks, two of the best uses of the color purple. I think I'm going to go Black Panther, though. Like, I agree. Like, it was an experience, which is different. Like I too, Todd was obsessed with Guardians when it first came out, and that's like, and it has persisted. But I do think, like, again, looking at overall complete movie, I really think that I think Black Panther even edges out Guardians in that regard.
All right. 2-2. The vote's going to come down to me. Foshe, what's your pick?
I was going to say, who knows where Foshe's going to go right now?
Yeah, I think I don't really have to say a whole lot, but Black Panther for me. The one person I probably haven't mentioned is Ryan Coogler. Out of everything, the director. I mean, that guy's amazing. Black Panther, Creed, Fruitvale Station. He has done a lot of really great things, and he is still super young. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does moving forward. But Black Panther for me. You can go back and listen. Just rewind this about 10 or 12 minutes, and you'll probably hear my spiel on Black Panther. So I'm not going to repeat that.
Right. Well. So, Black Panther is the only MCU movie to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards.
And I think looking at this list, it might have the highest tomato meter too. I think
it does.
Interesting.
I'm going with Black Panther, actually.
Oh,
I'm going with Black Panther. Just I never realized how much of an impact Black Panther really had on our, not our culture, but just culturally. I never realized it until Chadwick Boseman unfortunately passed away. And you saw all the tributes and all of this amazing things that he did as a human and all this stuff that just plays into me. I can't not think about that now when I watch Black Panther. And the more and more that I think about Black Panther, the more as the story is paced and progresses through that movie, it might be one of the best MCU movies in terms of progressing the story forward and the pacing of the movie, where you're not bored at all at any point in that movie. It's constantly going and going and going. And I think it's one of the longer, obviously, aside from like Infinity War and Endgame. I think it's one of the longer like MCU movies too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm going Black Panther. So Black Panther is your winner. According to the Anything But Credible Network people, Black Panther is the best MCU movie.
Love it. I love, and also like shout out to the sneaky guest appearance from Sterling K. Brown in that movie. By the way, he's literally in it for 35 seconds, and every time he's just comes in just shooting 100%. I mean, he comes in full force. I love that flashback scene. He like goes for it, man. The guy's amazing.
St. Louis guy too.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, the only problem is that it's based in they're like in Oakland, which is fine, I guess. Whatever.
But real quick, if I could get everybody, Katie, what is your all-time favorite MCU movie? If you had to pick just one,
or like character, do you even have like?
Character.
Yeah, did you have a go-to character? I'm always interested by that
character. It would be between. I know this sounds dumb. It would be between like Iron Man, Doctor Strange. Like I kind of like the sarcastic, funny people. But honestly, this sounds so bad. I'm not like a big Marvel person. I like X-Men.
Well,
okay.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
like that's I love all of the X-Men movies.
That is
Wolverine's
Marvel.
my dude. I know, but it's not
I
like
get what you're saying.
like Deadpool. Like that's my style more than Avengers.
Okay.
But I like Scarlet Witch now that WandaVision is out. You don't know who the fuck she is, and then you watch WandaVision, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I'll say Scarlet Witch.
Right.
But aside from that, X-Men and Deadpool. So.
Right. Duggan, do you have a favorite movie or character?
I mean, I think overall, the most impact movie-wise for me was probably Infinity War because I had never seen anything like it ever. I mean, that and Black Panther together were just like mind-blowing for me. I seriously, like, they both shook me, literally. I was just like, what? And up to that point, I'd already watched 17 or 18 Marvel movies, and they were just like mind-blowing compared to all the rest for me. But character-wise, I struggle with this too, and Katie was saying, because I'm also not a huge comic book person in general. And so they're all just kind of, I don't mean to offend anybody, but they're all just kind of the same to me in the way that they're like superheroes overall, like from a 30,000 foot view.
I think to that point, Duggan, I think the way that they're, again, the way that the movies are set up, the way that they're portrayed, I think there is a lot of similarity there, right? Because there isn't a lot of room, because you're building, especially when you're building towards something, there's not a lot of room for hiccups. There's not a lot of room for changing things up. There's not a lot of room for killing characters off, things like that, which would happen in comics, right? Like, and they typically bring people back or find multiverses or whatever, but like there's not options or there weren't options, at least in this first phase of things.
No, that's definitely true. And that's because, because of that too, I think I don't have like a specific character. I don't. But I will say that I remember when I was watching doing the movie run through, that I remember that the Captain America movies from a movie standpoint really stuck out to me. Like I really enjoyed the Captain America movies, the actual making and the look and the feel of them. But Captain America as a character definitely is not my favorite character. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I'm just kind of like, that's a really bad answer. So I'm sorry. I don't really have anything for you.
All right. Denny, do you have a?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already said it before, but I am a huge Iron Man fan. And honestly, if it was like just me sitting here trying to decide, what the final matchup would be, it would probably be Infinity War versus Iron Man. Those are like 1 and 2 for me. And then Endgame might be 3. Maybe, I don't know, I have to think about that. But it's definitely between like Infinity War and Iron Man for me. So I guess I'd probably just say Infinity War, because I feel like what you said about Black Panther, with you constantly being like entertained, there's always something happening. That's exactly how I feel about Infinity War, because it's just like there's always constantly there's something happening with some character, often either in space or in another part of whatever. So I'm gonna say probably Infinity War. It's my favorite.
All right. Thomas.
Yeah, it's Infinity War for me. Again, I think it was well, first of all, I like any movie where the heroes don't win in the end, and because I like to add that, I like the idea of adding that adversity, especially if there's going to be more movies. But like I like horror movies when everyone dies. So I don't know. That's just my own thing. Probably something for my therapist to figure out. But yeah, I think in terms of character, I'm really glad we have WandaVision because, as I mentioned earlier, Scarlet Witch is my favorite like comic book character, but in the MCU just wasn't portrayed as what she is. And I think WandaVision has done a really, really great job of doing of really trying to do that, really dedicating the time to actually build her for what she is. The one thing, so my second favorite comic book character is Magneto, and I'm not going to talk about tie-ins right now in case they decide they want to do something later. So no spoilers there. You can look it up for yourself. So the idea of the X-Men now being potentially in the MCU going forward is actually I think it's a good thing, because I think it's just going to give more credibility to those movies that really two of the last four were really good, and so I'm hopeful that we can keep that up.
Right. And I agree with you on movies where the good guys don't win. That's why like The Matrix Reloaded is one of my all-time favorite movies. Like the way that ends and the to be concluded, it was just like, oh, let's go. I want to see the third one now. Then you got let down. But anyway, Foshe, over to you.
So there's a lot of people, great characters, great character building from the beginning. Movie for sure is Black Panther. This is a shock to everyone I know. Character, like Katie said, Doctor Strange is awesome. I feel like he's really, he's cool, but he doesn't really. I need to go back and rewatch that movie because I know a lot of people are like, yeah, it wasn't that great, but I always thought he was a cool character, just different. But for me, it's Spider-Man. Growing up, I was a big Spider-Man person, and I never had comics growing up as a kid. I never got into comics or anything, but for whatever reason, Spider-Man was always like any Spider-Man video game that came out, any movie that came out, any book or anything like I was buying. That's something that I would enjoy getting into is comics, but now it's like I don't even know where to start. There's so many and so many spinoffs and all that stuff. So, but yeah, Spider-Man for sure is probably my favorite MCU character.
For me, my favorite MCU movie is definitely Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's by far, and it has the English beats. Save It for Later. When that song kicks on, I'm like, it's one of my all-time favorite songs. So that's won me right there. Also, Michael Keaton, or as my little brother Keaton calls him, Michael Me. So that's one of my favorite actors as well. Tom Holland is a second coming of Michael J. Fox, in my opinion. If they make Back to the Future 4, Tom Holland has to be Marty Jr. or whatever. Like, I mean, he reminds me so much of Michael J. Fox. And, like, just love it. Love every minute of it. If we're talking favorite superhero movie of all time, though, still hands down The Dark Knight, in my opinion. Batman's my favorite, but
That was the best.
Yeah, that Days of Future Past, also another good one. Yeah, that about does it here on Offended. Let's hit them with the 1, 2, 3 finish. And let's get out of here. Katie, do you want to go? 3 shout outs?
Sure, I'll go. I only have 2 though.
It's fine.
I can't think of anything. 1, 2 finish. I'm really excited.
False finish.
I think the 1975 is hopefully bringing out new music sometime soon, right, Tricky?
It should be.
It should be there. They've been quiet for a while, so I'm patiently waiting for that. I'm excited. 2, I'm so happy I don't have to play the movie game. Like after tonight, I would not survive. This was really hard, and I don't even.
We just need you to be the moderator.
I can do that. I would be happy to do that, and that's it.
All right.
Thanks for coming on Offended. So.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Of course. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Is it? I forget. Is this is it 3 things like shout out? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Just what you want.
Yep.
Well, so the first thing that makes me think about it is every time we have these conversations, I really just think about like shouting out just the idea that and just film making as an art form in general. I just feel like I don't know if it gets enough appreciated. People would just expect movies to be around, but they don't understand all of the craziness that goes into making even the worst movies in the world.
I mean, how many people work on it? It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And then on top of that, just to think about, this happened to me last night, Sunday, stressing out. I needed to escape. I needed to do something else. I needed to think about something else. And so I put on a movie, a really old, terrible movie. I don't know if you guys have seen The Ninth Gate, but with Johnny Depp. But it took me to this other place because I remember being there. And that's what good movies do, man. They just kind of transport you. So the art of filmmaking, obviously the Blues, because I know we've been injury bitten. We've had the injury bug, but I still love our team. And I think we're going to have a great second half of the season. I'm super excited for that. And then the third thing is, honestly, this is going to be super corny, but really it's just being able to podcast with everybody all together. This is something that before the COVID, with all the craziness that we did before, honestly, I feel like an idiot. Foshe, we've talked about this before. I never thought about doing some kind of screen sharing before, ever. We hop on Zoom and now everything you can do, it's literally like, why weren't we doing this from the get-go? And it makes these kinds of types of episodes and conversations just so much more enjoyable and so much more pleasant, just to be able to not only talk to people, but see them. Like we used to have I used to literally hook up my phone to my interface and then like have multiple like a dial 4 people into a phone call. It was just so inefficient, so ridiculous. So I'm happy for technology, but I'm also just happy to be able to talk and record with you all, man. It's always a good time.
Awesome. Denny, you got 3 things you want to shout out?
I think so. To be honest, I forgot that this was a part of it, so this is going to be really terrible and obvious. But hey, thanks. Shout out to Offended for allowing me to come on the show and
anytime
debate the best MCU movie. And then shout out to the MCU for making such an in-depth universe. And then finally, I'd like to shout out the Going Off Topic pod for allowing me to have a platform to look like an idiot when I play the movie game. But it's always a great time. And
there you go.
That's all I got. Sorry for my horrible shout outs.
At least you had 3. Okay.
That's
I didn't even have 3.
You could have shouted out the ending to last night's pay-per-view, Katie.
Yeah, you're not going to even shout out Garth, man. He came over to say what's up.
Yeah.
I know. He's gone now. He's sleeping somewhere else.
He doesn't like you.
I know.
Thomas, you want to have 3 things?
Yeah, first shout out to my wife, who won't listen to this, but since I referred to her as my baby's mother earlier, and I know I'm going to get so much shit for that later. And really, I was trying to not do the it's just like the cutesy names or whatever. Like I was just trying to be very like logical with it, and now I've completely screwed myself this evening. So that's the first shout out. Second shout out, like everybody's been saying, obviously Offended for having me on. Kyle, Foshe for introducing me to everybody and getting me to be a part of this, and ABC for giving me an eventual platform once I can get some things nailed down on my end, including a slight studio move. And then last shout out, we can talk more about this later, Tricky, but I actually know the daughter of the writer of Back to the Future. And so shout out to Samo.
Okay. Shout out.
Yeah. Hope you're doing well.
Are you a big, does that mean you're a big Back to the Future fan? Because Todd is probably the biggest Back to the Future fan that I know.
I would say like I really enjoy Back to the Future a lot. I specifically I like the first and the third. Second one's fine. It's just not as good in my opinion. But I really got much more into Back to the Future once I met my friend. And like it came out of like the dumbest conversation. We had no idea that she was this person, and it came out of the dumbest conversation, and someone just quoted like, "Where we're going, you don't need roads," and she was like, ugh. And she's like, we gotta talk about it. And actually I've heard you reference also Mulaney's bit on Back to the Future as well. And so she actually asked her dad the question to answer that, and we can talk about that not on the podcast one day.
Okay. I totally want to hear that. I'm totally intrigued to hear that. Definitely. I've never met anybody who actually likes the third one more than I think the second one.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it, like something about being in the past again versus like a lot of the future than the second one. I don't know what it was for me. It was just like something that clicked more when I was a kid.
Right. Foshe.
Yeah. So my 3 things. Shout out to Nick Cage. Got married this past weekend for the 5th time. So shout out to him.
Shout out.
Shout out to my wife. Ellen just got a new job as a music therapist. All the years of schooling are paying off. So shout out to her. And my last shout out is just everybody out there, Duggan and I feel like we all kind of talk about it, just making shit happen, doing cool stuff. If you're making a podcast, writing a blog, making music, making TikTok, whatever, you think it's cool, go ahead and do it. Don't let people tell you that it's dumb or not to do it. Because, you never know. It might turn into something. And, we've all, like, I knew Duggan and I met Denny from work, and then I knew Thomas from college. And then we met, Tricky and Katie from from Duggan and friends and everybody. So, you meet a lot of cool people, do a lot of cool stuff. So something out there you want to do, just go ahead and grab it and do it.
There it is. This is the most meaningful 1, 2, 3 finish I think we've ever had.
I'm holding
I
back
think
tears.
so.
My number one, shout out Vladdy Tarasenko coming back. He got an assist tonight already, so that's nice. Number two, thank you to everybody coming on here. This was really fun. We got to do this again, and I think we should be good to go to do the big one, the big movie game, which is obviously that's going to take a few hours to do. Like,
oh my god,
might take a couple days, honestly. So I don't think we can get through the whole thing in like one sitting, personally. But also, aside number two, CDC coming out today saying once you get fully vaccinated, masks are no longer needed. You can actually, it's a step forward towards normalcy again. So I think we're all looking forward to that. So, and my number three, let's go with listen to our second episode of Offended. Listen to the weekly wrestling wrap-up coming this week. We're bringing it back this week. We're going to review AEW Revolution and AEW Dynamite and talk about that sparkly ending to AEW Revolution. All right. Before you guys get out of here, Duggan, where can we find the Anything But Credible podcasts?
You can find it just where, honestly, I don't want to step on anybody else here, but you can find it where you can find everybody else's podcast here, which is anythingbutcredible.com. Also, just Google.
And
believe it or not.
And your socials?
I just hit the Googles, man. Yeah. Actually, you'll find all that stuff on anythingbutcredible.com too. You know, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all those places, but the one-stop shop for all that's going to be anythingbutcredible.com.
All right. And that's where you can find Movie Merge. And going off topic, us, Offended, and Thomas, what was going to be your podcast's name again?
What's Your Bliss?
What's Your Bliss? You need to remember
soon.
that.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. All right. Does anybody else want to shout out their socials of where to find you guys anywhere?
I'm all good. Anythingbutcredible.com podcast and the blog is there. So you can get it.
All right.
Just an honorable mention, shout out to Eddie Kingston, who had to sell the sparklers last week. You know, I just
he did. I can't believe he sold it. I was like,
he did what he had to do.
He didn't sell it.
What was he supposed to do in that situation? It was an unwinnable situation, and you know, Eddie, I got a lot of love for Eddie. So,
are you a wrestling fan?
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh,
I'm wearing an LAX t-shirt right now.
Yeah, he goes.
Oh, you are wearing an LAX t-shirt. Holy shit! That's an old TNA t-shirt. Holy shit!
I'm
wow. Immediately think of Hernandez.
I think Foshe and I said this a while ago. I don't know if we remember this or not, but I feel like we were like, yeah, when you meet Thomas, like you guys should definitely have him on one of your wrestling things because I'm pretty sure he goes pretty hard. He goes hard.
Definitely will now, for sure.
Anytime you want to come on because I only know baby wrestling stuff.
No,
I'm just here for the ride. So.
Did you watch the pay-per-view last night, the whole thing?
I did, yeah.
We might have to have you on for the wrap-up then. Talk about it.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy to. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Honored.
Sweet. We got another wrestling guy on the network. Let's fucking go. Too sweet, brother.
I like the old cease and desist one sweet. But,
yeah, right?
We still do the two.
I got to send you my picture that I took with the Young Bucks. We did the cease and desist shield one sweet.
Nice.
It's when they were
love that
going back and forth with them, but it's great. Anyway, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all of our socials, YouTube, wherever you can find us at Offended Pod. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trick1042. You can follow KT KT Naked Ladyy on Twitter at
Naked Ladyy with 2 Ys.
I hate that you put a question mark at the end.
I know, I do it just for you, babe.
Make sure to go check out our playlist exclusively on Spotify at Offended Presents Songs of the Week. Make sure to go check out anythingbutcredible.com for all your network needs to find all the good brothers and sister on the network. Podcast Mo. Make sure to go check that out too. Let's see, am I missing anything? Wherever you can find us. Subscribe, follow all of us. Subscribe to all of us. Give us a 5-star rating. All that good stuff. And still, I keep saying this, I just need to get it set up. ProWrestlingTees.com. We are going to have a shirt coming out again soon. And this time we're going to get all the profits with it.
Yes, you will.
Jesus, that's another story for another day. But anyway, thank you all for coming on. It was so much fun. We have to do this again very soon. For drawing blank. For Duggan, for Foshe, for Denny, for Thomas, for KT KT Naked Ladyy, I am Tricky. This has been Offended, presented by the Anything But Credible Network, and to play you out in its entirety, except for on YouTube, is Leave the Door Open by Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, Silk Sonic. We will see you guys next week.